Welcome back, podcast community. My name is Cam King. This is Three Questions Podcast. I am your host. I have a consulting company that I coach and mentor people on personal and business issues. And I've been doing this podcast for a long time. I do it when I can, when I have time. The entire point of Three Questions Podcast is to succinctly get you answers to very specific questions of stuff that you've wanted to know based upon my experience. I'm not a guru. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not trying to get famous. I'm just a human being who does a lot of different things. I like experimenting. I like learning. And I like sharing what it is that I've learned from both my successes and my failures. Of course, I've learned way more from my failures. But today I want to talk a little bit about supplements. As many of my clients know, I have an apparel company as well. And I also have a supplement company called Stronger for Longer. I've always been into fitness. I've always been into bettering myself, wanting to get 1% better every single day, every single year. The more that I can learn about supplements and my body and how things work and how things affect me, positive and negative, that's just going to make me better in the long run. And hopefully I can share something with you so that you learn. Anyways, when I built Stronger for Longer, I was very sick of getting products from Amazon. I was very sick of things being made in China and very sick of wasting my money on what I felt like products that just weren't working. So I found a manufacturer in Colorado. All of my stuff is now made in Golden, Colorado. It's FDA registered. Everything's approved, third party tested, GMP compliant, fair trade agreements in place. And I'm a veteran, so I get to have the benefit of all of those luxuries. I run it with my business partner, Phil. And I think our stuff is the bomb because I make it extra strength, which you can't always find in the stores. The only problem is we're not in stores yet. Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about ashwagandha, whey protein, and then magnesium in these three questions. As you know, the format for Three Questions Podcast is I'm going to ask a question, set my watch on a timer, and then essentially we're just going to let her rip. Okay. So I will get going here. I'll ask the first question and let's go. So, question number one, Three Questions Podcast, episode number 85. What is the real difference between whey protein and collagen? Which one should you actually take? So, let's break this down. What whey protein is it's milk that comes from cows or animals, and then it's freeze dried, and then it's flash frozen, and freeze dried and flash frozen, whatever process it is. And then it's boiled into, it's really dried, and then scraped down into a powder that you can just put in water and then do that. Whey protein is a complete protein. It has all 9 amino acids that are needed to make muscle. Collagen is also really cool, but it's peptides because it's missing one amino acid, which makes it an incomplete protein. Collagen actually comes from the marrow, the skin, and I think different tissues of different animals. It's kind of ground up, and it's a little bit finer and a little bit better for you, but is an incomplete protein, which means you need more from outside things in order to build muscle. You cannot just take collagen and build muscle. I learned this the hard way, but collagen is really, really good for your hair, your skin, your teeth, your nails, your gums, right? Tightening things up, reducing wrinkles, and just making your skin glow, like look more radiant. Both men and women need that. And I think that's fantastic to have collagen peptides. You can put that in your coffee. You can also put that in your protein. But if you're looking to build muscle, if you're looking to recover, you have to take whey protein. I get it. You don't want to take lactose. And I hear it all the time from women. Oh, if I take protein, I'm going to get super bulky and really ripped. Look, ladies, I love you, but I've been trying to do this for 20 years and I'm not even ripped yet, right? It's not going to happen to you overnight if you just take a scoop of whey protein. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Think about that for a second. Whey protein is actually really good for you because most people are under consuming protein. They're not having enough protein. Whenever I am feeling super stressed out or just irritable or cranky, I'm like, dude, you just need to eat a steak. And every time that I do, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel much better. Red meat does that for me because I do a lot. I'm burning a lot of calories, and sometimes I just need things that can help me calm down. That's it. So, collagen is great for you. Whey protein is the best, though, if you are lifting heavy weights, trying to build muscle and recover faster. Okay. I take both. I make both collagen, I make both whey protein at SFL, and you can shop there at www.iamsfl.com. Kind of cool plan words. If you're one of my clients, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, for you, take both. I do. And I notice a good difference with my skin and with my recovery, and I take it after every single workout. So anyways, let's hop to question number 2. If you have questions about collagen or whey protein, just send me a message. I'm happy to chat. Question number 2, ashwagandha. What is it? I hear it's an adaptogen. Is it hype or is it a daily essential? Great question. Ashwagandha is everywhere. I'm sure you've been in Target or Walmart or CVS or Walgreens and you see ashwagandha gummies. Relax, de-stress, reset your nervous system. Yeah, it works out, but you still can't be a piece of shit and live your life like trash and then just take one or two gummies and expect all your problems to go away. That's unrealistic. And for whatever reason, I see majority of people reaching for ashwagandha when I'm like, you should be reaching for like anything other than that right now, because that's like the only 10 to 20% that you can take after you're doing everything right. Here's my philosophy on supplements. You cannot go out drinking all night and then wake up in the morning and pray and take a multivitamin that hangover isn't going to hit you like a ton of bricks. It is. You have to do as much of everything else right as you can, and then supplementation should be the last step that you need in order to get you over a perceived hump that you may be at. If you are being consistent with your sleep, with your diet, with your food, with limiting your alcohol intake, limiting your caffeine, limiting your sugar, getting outside, getting enough vitamin D, even if you're doing all of those things, cool. Now we can add in supplementation. Supplementation cannot cover for a shitty lifestyle. And I see too many people try and make that mistake. Ashwagandha, unfortunately, is one of those things that gets a bad rap. Well, I don't know what it does. There's no point to it. Cool. How does the rest of your life look? I've experimented with ashwagandha a lot, and I make my ashwagandha extra strength. So every time that I'm taking it, I'm getting about um, two two doses is about 1,350 milligrams. Most ashwagandha that I see in stores, that's about 200 to 300 milligrams per capsule. So I'm over double both of those things. And it's one of the things where I really think that you should consider uh, taking it, because I feel much better on ashwagandha. If I take ashwagandha at night, number one, it helps me sleep better. Its primary effect is that it lowers cortisol, because when you're in a fight or flight situation via your sympathetic nervous system, your body is releasing adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol is released alongside adrenaline to help extend the half-life of that adrenaline in your body. But the only real way to reduce your cortisol levels, because eventually you'll burn out and your adrenaline will run out. And when that happens, you crash. You become really irritable. You can't sleep. You can't think. You're putting on weight. You just have this crazy brain fog because you're out of a very necessary substance that your body needs in case of a perceived threat at any time. And it doesn't like to run out. So it makes you feel like a really shitty person. Ashwagandha helps by helping to rebuild your cortisol faster, even with the sleep that you may or may not be getting. So ashwagandha can really, number one, kind of take out the cortisol that is in your system right now, and then it can help kind of replenish those reserves faster. I forget the mechanism of action specifically that it does. I wish it was more scientific here, but it also helps you sleep because it's lowering your cortisol. And when you're lowering your cortisol and you're actually getting higher quality sleep, guess what? Your testosterone is able to raise because you're getting more and more sleep than you probably were. So now your testosterone as a byproduct is increasing because you're taking ashwagandha, which is reducing your system from a sympathetic nervous state to a parasympathetic nervous state. If I'm going too fast and you're not following along, that's fine. Send me a message or dig into this yourself. If this is the first time you're hearing this stuff, awesome. If it's not, right, you know that these are kind of the basics in terms of medicinal and terminology and a lot of other things. So welcome to the club. I love this stuff. Let's hop to question number three, because ashwagandha is a complicated subject and I would like more time to divulge into that. But you have to be doing a lot of things right. If you are experiencing stress, if you are not sleeping well, I highly, highly recommend you take both ashwagandha and magnesium. Okay. And I'll tell you why right here. Question number three, magnesium. Why are 70% of people deficient, and what happens when you finally fix it? All right. So we're going to cover stress, sleep, muscle recovery, brain function, and the best forms of magnesium, whether it's glycinate or citrate or oxide or threonate. There's a lot of different forms of magnesium. All that you really need to know is the bioavailability of those different things is different, meaning that some bioavailability is available to your body earlier when it's ingested. Some of its bioavailability is available later. So depending on what sleep cycles you want the magnesium to kind of be released into your system, that's fine. I think it's more or less a marketing thing, because I take about 500 milligrams of magnesium 1 to 2 hours before I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I sleep just fine. I sleep really, really hard these days because I am supplementing with magnesium. And these questions are accurate. 70% of people in the world are deficient in magnesium. We used to get almost 100% of our minerals from food because we killed food that was natural. and it was dirty and it had all of these things, but it also had all of these minerals because they were eating natural, real grass, other animals, other fish, and we were getting a complete diet back when we were all hunters. Now with the hyper processed food industry and everything's in boxes and everything is ultra processed, we're missing out on a lot of things for us. Magnesium is one of those things. We can't just dump that in our food, right? So there's a medical disease, I think, where it makes people eat dirt, and that is actually from a magnesium deficiency. Sadly, it's pretty abundant in Africa. But for you, same thing. If you don't have enough magnesium in your system, because everything that happens in your body when you're moving your arms, when you're flapping your gums, when you're doing this, when you're doing that, everything is an action potential in your system. Your nervous system operates at 380,000 miles per hour, and it releases a bunch of calcium, potassium, sodium, magnesium. Every time you have a muscle contraction, magnesium is being released. Actin and troponin, all of these little things, these little sarcomeres, right? Sarcomeres, sarcolemmas, myofibrils, all of these actions are kind of turning in and out of one another, right? Getting lactic acid in, getting lactic acid out, bringing blood flow in, bringing oxygen out. Your body is such an amazing machine. And in order for a lot of these different parts to continue to work, your body needs an abundance of different minerals. So most people are mineral deficient, the primary one being magnesium. And if you are a person who is not on magnesium at all, guess what? It's time to get on magnesium, motherfucker. Like everyone should be on magnesium. You sleep better, your nervous system operates way better. I have more energy, of course. My sex life also gets better when I'm taking a lot of magnesium. I don't know what that has to do with male testosterone and semen, but like that's an improvement that I've noticed. My blood flow is certainly better. I'm more calm. I don't feel like I'm jittery all the time. I don't feel like my nervous system is being activated. So, magnesium at night when I sleep, ashwagandha at night when I sleep, and like I'm a new person. I can get 5 or 6 hours and I can still get up and just crush my day. So, cannot recommend these things enough for you. Look into them. If you want to get them from me, I would love that. imsfl.com. You can shoot me a message. You can email me at info@ckcollective.co. But so far, this is episode number 85. I just want to talk about supplements because I obviously got back here from the gym. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you're listening on podcast, Spotify, Apple, Echo, doesn't matter. I apologize for not getting an episode out over the past month. I just realized my last episode was April 5th. Sometimes my weeks get a little bit too busy, but I do want to release a couple of these, but I want to get more guests on as well. So if you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to come on, just shoot me a note. You know how to reach me by now, but appreciate you guys for listening. And yeah, of course, leave a rating for the show or like this, reshare this, and send this episode to a friend if they need to hear it. All right, see you guys in the next one.